Special good morning to our listeners. Special good morning to our viewers. How's everybody doing this morning? Hope you're having a lovely Friday morning. It's the 5th day of December 2025. Welcome to The Point for today, Friday. Once again, those of you via our social media platforms, good morning. How you doing? Hope all is well. Those of you who are driving around this morning, hope you're not stuck in traffic or something of the sort. It was kind of easy moving this morning for some reason. The traffic was moving pretty easy for some reason this morning. So I'm assuming all is well with everyone. Folks, we're having an open line edition this morning up to the point. I have no guests in studio, so which means it's the opportunity for you listeners and viewers out there to tap in with me this morning for 352-041. Let me hear from you in terms of your views, your concerns you may like to share or bring to the fore. You probably, of course, have a situation in your community that you may like to bring to the attention of the listening public or maybe to the authority. They probably missed it just a little bit and you want to say, hey, this is something that you folks can look into. Feel free to do so. 435-2041. You also have the option of the WhatsApp. If you would like to call in via the WhatsApp, feel free to do so also. 435-2041. Give you the opportunity to free up just a wee bit, but of course, let's do it with all the due respect that, of course, to the other, of course, as they share their opinion. Please do so. We go to the phone line. We do have our first caller. Let me get that line cleared, and I think we're ready to go. Caller live. Good morning. Welcome.
Good morning, GT. Thank you. How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you doing this morning?
I'm doing fine, thanks.
Okay.
GT, I am hearing from the government that we are lacking in skilled workers, so we have to import skilled labor, right? Nothing wrong with that. But my problem is, and I'm also hearing the same thing from the construction workers and so on, that they are really struggling to find skilled labor, even helpers, right? It's like people. There are people who really do not want to work, like the helpers and so on, right? Because they can work. It's just the skilled labor that is scarce.
Yes.
Now, what is the plan to make sure that our people become skilled, right? That is my concern. If we are lacking, then we should be having a plan in place, not only to import workers, but to ensure that our people become skilled immediately, not in the distant future, immediately.
So are you saying, not to tapping on you, but are you saying that, government should start instituting programs where individuals, especially where could be taught, especially in the skills that are so lacking, if we could say it in that particular way. Mason,
exactly.
carpenters and so forth.
Masons and the such. Yes. That's exactly.
You should have a serious program going on, especially for your young folks who may have the interest, but sometimes, folks who do have the skill already are hesitant to, maybe leave what they're doing to come to teach. You understand where I'm coming from?
That's right. That's true. That's true.
So something that could be looked into. So to help to, of course, increase the amount of individuals in terms of what we need for that particular purpose. That's a great point, caller.
GT, one final thing. I think just as how they used to have the CPE during the revolution, where when persons go to work during the day, in the evening they go to classes. We can try that strategy to ensure that, especially our young men need to work. Right? Women need to work together.
You may not want to call it CPE. Folks may feel a little different in terms of that. No, maybe a new name. I
didn't say call it CPE.
I know, but when you bring it across like that, folks may feel thinking.
I'm just using the example of how persons went to classes in the evening. That's the example I'm trying to bring.
Get your point.
Right? Our people could also go to class in the evening to learn those skills. So that's my contribution this morning.
Appreciate your contribution, my dear. Have a good day. 435-2041. Interesting point there from the caller in terms of, maybe the authorities could institute programs of that nature where they can help get folks interested in the labor shortage that we do have around right now. We have another caller. Caller live. Good morning and welcome.
Hey, good morning, Mr. Telesford. Greetings. How are you?
Doing good, sir. What about you?
Well, I'm pretty all right. As we come down and so on towards the Feast of the Nativity, And if you say Christmas, remember in the CHRIST in the word Christmas, when it is separate from that suffix, is pronounced Christ. Let's put Christ in Christmas and do it well in his name and for his purpose also. I want to, have a couple of other things to talk about. I want to piggyback on that last caller's statement. Thank you, sister. Thank you. You're thinking quite correctly in the interest of the country. I remember when I started Temporary on radio in 2011 when the opportunity was given, and I accepted it. There are two things that I spoke about in making my contributions for the things I had seen prior and what I've been through, I began to worry about the refounding of this nation because indeed when I returned to the country, the same level of sleaze and malfeasance in politics was going on. I left it for 22 years, I came back, I met the same thing. But the other thing that I suggested to the then administration, of course, when Cribojers like me break, nobody listens. I suggested in my mind NICE as an acronym, a National Institute for Students of Inconclusive Education, because I've seen the system function in other parts, in other jurisdictions, not with that name, but with the same purpose. In other words, that children up to 18 should go to school, and if, for whatever reason, you're not the type of quote-unquote, some people don't like it, academically inclined. Like, I was never that academically inclined individual at school either. I believe in more play. But people like that learn skills, and great skills. But you have to provide the training for them. We suggested back then in 2012, latter 2011 to 2012, that at least 3 of these places should be set up, one to the north, one to the center, and one to the south of the country, so that boys and girls who leave school early for whatever reason can go there and learn the necessary skills for the development of the country. Then that was what the country needed to train them in. Agriculture, for instance, I remember the Revolution instituted the Mirabo Farm School. They abolished it. Today we talk about we can't get skilled workers. This pains me. You see, these politicians, quote-unquote, stroke demagogues that get into political office, feel they know everything, and they want to run the whole show, and they don't listen to the people. But the people have ideas. This is why I believe, as I conclude here, Mr. Telesford and Grenadian, that if we do not reconstitute this nation, we'll be doing the same thing over and over, and every year will be deja vu again. The same mess. The system permits this. The system employs people elected. On Monday, as lawmakers, the morning after they're hired as executors. And then they're getting free money now to go there and buy votes. Sleaze, that's an open floodgate to corruption, and beyond that, they spend the people's money, $22.5 million, Mr. Telesford, in party and fete and drone flying. And nobody accounts for that. This thing has to end in this country. Brothers and sisters, we can rewrite our own constitution. Let us clamor for a referendum to eliminate once and for all this latrine pamphlet of an imperial order in council of the monarch's most excellent majesty, which we've been ruled by for 51 plus years. If we don't do that and establish something signed by our own, done by, agreed in consensus as much as possible too, so that we are bound to abide by as a people, we continue to make the same mistakes over and over. Oh, Mr. Telesford, we can go on talking about for years. But I wish you all well for the holidays. Stay safe until we chat again.
You too, sir. Have a good day. All the best. Caller via WhatsApp. Good morning. You're live.
Good morning, G.
Good morning to you, sir.
Benita Carrico and Petit Martinique. GT, I wanna just kind of piggyback a little bit on what the first caller would have reiterated or spoke about. And I do agree with you with using the term CPE. I am a revolutionary child, but at the same time, I do not like to hear it because I know definitely that a revolution, that type of revolution, did not serve us too well. In the end, did more damage, and we're still not even.
Caller, for some reason, I'm getting a pretty low tone from you now. I'm not sure if you maybe talk a little closer to the phone or lift your voice a bit.
Yeah, as I said, when she used the term CPE, I did feel a way about it because as a revolutionary child as well, although I didn't grow up much in the era when the real struggle was taking place, it left us with a lasting damage somehow that we have to recover from, and we might think that the revolution was so good. I personally think that it did no good in the long term for Grenada, and that's why we are stuck in such certain places still. As it relates to the skilled labor that the minister, Mr. Andrew, has said that we are lacking in Grenada, I think it's just a political neophyte terminology he's trying to use on the people, strategy on the people, and this people needs to wake up and realize that if you have people since 2023, I think Mr. Timothy Antwine would have said that in one of his address from the Caribbean Development Bank to educators in Grenada, that we need to focus or refocus on not just academia but skills as well. So what does it take? How long does it take for a government to plan? I think this government is not listening. They do not listen to anyone, but they just do things. They came into office and they felt that everything was going to be laid on to them, given to them on a platter. And this kind of mentality cannot continue. They've been there for almost 4 years, and this continuing to continue to raise its head. It's very bad, and you could see the blatant mismanagement and misuse of funds. Places where it shouldn't be used. For example, the Prime Minister he traveled ever too often. He's not settling down in the country to really know what's going on and to be on the ground with the people, to hear and to feel their suffering. This is very much out of touch, and if they was not out of touch, they would have known what was this situation a very long time ago and to address it. We cannot sit down and have them being paid $15,000 or $14,000 every month and they're not doing the job. If they're not doing the job, then you know definitely what to do. We hire them and we will have to fire them. This is not right. Recently, I looked at a young man talking about a bridge in somewhere in St. Andrews, and when you look at that bridge was given to the nepotism by the Minister of Social Development and Community Service. Was given to her friend. It was given to her friend who cannot do the job, and she came on one of the program, the flagship program, and spoke about some of the people are not trained and she doesn't know what they're doing and it's a total mess and so on. But she went ahead in her community months after and still gave a contract to one of her friends who in this day and age is using nails on what's supposed to be where it's supposed to be schools. This man has his own personal work going on. Take the better part of the bridge which was left the garbage on the side. I mean, it is so blatant. These things needs to be called out when they're supposed to be called out, because this government doesn't even want people to speak. But Grenadians need to have a voice. We hired you. We have a right to examine and get proper accountability of what is happening in the country. No country is run like this, except we live in China. Thank you very much, GT.
Thank you, caller. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for your contribution this morning. Caller, you're live. Good morning. Welcome.
Morning, Mr. Telesford.
Good morning. How are you doing this morning?
I'm good. One correction to something Mr. Rulo said. He gave praise to the Maribor Agricultural School to the revolutionary. I went to Maribor Agricultural School in 78 to 79. That was long before the revolution.
Okay.
So they shouldn't accredit Maribor School agricultural school to the revolution. It had nothing to do. It was there long before. And we were the second batch of students. Students was there since 76, 77, and we went in 78, 79. So it had nothing to do with the revolution.
All right.
With the revolution. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you also for that bit of a correction. I guess. Hey, folks, it's moving down to approximately 21 after the hour. Let's take another caller before the break. Caller, your life. Good morning. Welcome.
GT.
Good morning.
I tried talking about these people and they're not helping me. I thought, what kind of people they are?
Who is not helping you?
The people that you're asking for the help for me to come and do the yard. The whole yard is bush. I walking and falling in it. I'm an old person. I need help. And when we had Keith Mitchell the way before, I said, hey, now him send people to help clean up my yard. Now I'm living in bush, all on top of the roof of the house. Around it is bush. I don't know where I am. Why can't somebody come and help me? Because I'm old? They don't look for old people. Old people that make this broke the country like this. Because when we were young, we do a lot for the Grenada.
But have you been asking for the assistance to get it done?
GT, I need your help. You promised twice I call, and you say you're going to see what you do from up to now.
I would admit I didn't get the opportunity to ask anyone to offer you the assistance.
The man was there with you last week.
Yeah.
Duran Reddit was there. Why didn't you tell him? He never come up to this.
It totally slipped my mind. It totally slipped my mind in terms of getting that done for you.
GT must look for me. You know me. All the years we know from mother to father. I know everyone in you, and you must look after me because I'm an legit person.
You know, well, I have added responsibilities too. So sometimes, remembering things to help you with do slip. So but I will see what I can do for you.
You just tell me that, and I'm not getting the help. And the Christmas is right here, and I don't want to be in the bush. People, I have friends. They don't come around. If I had friends, I would never depend on nobody for help. But because I have no one to tell them to for help, you're treating me like that. Why are you treating me like that? Why run whether you send somebody to come and clean up the place for me? Eh? All the bushes strong in the
well, it's not totally the minister's responsibility, but I will certainly see what I can have done for you. Have a good morning, all right?
Because I can't sleep in the night because I'm afraid. Because the bushes and the trees around me, I'm afraid that beasts will crawl in.
All right.
And I have no one to do. DT, I talked to you already, please.
All right, buddy. I will see what I can have done for you by over the weekend. All right.
It's time I get some help. It's time I try for the help.
Okay.
Don't do me that. Treat me like a human, like anybody else. Right?
All right. Folks, we due for a break. Let's take that break, and on the return, we certainly will have much more of the calls from our listeners and viewers of After the Break. Stay with us. Don't touch it now. It's to the point. The open line edition for today, Friday.
Ho, ho, ho!
Grenada Get Ready. GBN, the Ministry of Education, and the Division of Culture proudly present Christmas Harmony 1.0, the inaugural primary school carol singing competition. Join us on Friday, December the 5th at 1 p.m. at the Grenada Trade Center. Magical voices, festive spirit, and exciting competition await. Tickets, adults $10, children $5. Christmas Harmony 1.0. No better place to be. Be there.
Megaforce Promotions, in proud collaboration with Ariza Credit Union and GBN, presents Grenada's biggest flea market at Monroe's Plainfield, Saturday 20th and Sunday 21st December, 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. daily. Shop unbeatable deals on bed and curtain sets, appliances, household items, electrical and plumbing supplies, toys, Christmas decorations, clothing and shoes, perfumes and colognes, wines and drinks, and just about everything else. Plus a kids area, live entertainment, food and drink stalls. Want to be a vendor? Call 440-4646 to book your spot before they're all gone. Admission $5. 2 full days of deals and more deals. Shopping, fun and savings. Monroe's Plainfield Flea Market. Don't miss it.
creativity, and community. It's the Kamahon Folk and Buy Local Festival happening on Friday, December 5th to Sunday, December 7th at the Sates Bus Terminal in St. Patrick. Friday, December 5th will be the opening night with prayers and worship. Then feel the rhythm ride with theater performances. On Saturday, December 6th, it's Market Day and cultural celebration in Sates. Come celebrate our roots with Asaraka. Sunday, December 7th, it's the grand finale. Folk celebration. We close the festival with pure culture, the rich traditions that makes us who we are. So mark your calendars. Friday, December 5th to Sunday, December 7th. Sates Bus Terminal. Kamahon Folk and Buy Local Festival. This event is brought to you by Ministry of Tourism, Creative Economy and
in partnership with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Trade and Export Development.
Welcome back to our listeners. Welcome back to our viewers. It's To The Point for today, Friday, the 5th day of December. We have an open line edition this morning. Listeners, viewers, you have the option of calling in, sharing your views, sharing your concerns. You also have the option, if you prefer, to make your contribution via message, via WhatsApp. You feel free to do that also. I will certainly mention it. Let's go back to the phone line. Caller, you're live. Good morning. Welcome.
Well, thank you, Mr. Telesford. I beg your indulgences for a couple of seconds.
Go right ahead.
I wish to acknowledge that error there, slip of the tongue there, and the correction made by the sister. But there's one thing I want to say about on the matter anyway, that it was only during the years of the People's Revolution, 79 to 83, that so much effort had been put into agricultural training at that level, which made a great dent on the enhancement of agricultural production in this country. Not that it didn't exist before, clearly it was. Hallelujah. But we cannot acknowledge that it was the only moment in our history that so much effort had been placed into the seriousness of agriculture and to introduction, of so much farm machinery. Let us recall that too. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you also. 4352041. We go back to the phone line. We do have a WhatsApp caller. WhatsApp, you're live. Good morning.
GT, good morning.
Good morning, sir. How are you doing this morning? Good Friday to you, man.
Not too bad. Happy Friday to you, to GT, and all the best for the weekend. GT, before I start, I just want to wish a couple of 5 years of marriage, Marquez and Mitzi, Maxwin, and to wish them happy anniversary today.
All right.
All right, GT, I want to start off by, we have a way of saying we have to respect people's opinion. You don't, in my opinion, you don't have to respect nobody's opinion. You understand? Your opinion is your opinion. A while ago, I heard a young man call, and then he make a lot of pronouncement about the Prime Minister travel and all these things, which I don't really want to get into, because Anthony Boswin was there and he explained the reason people travel and what they bring back and stuff and things. But GT, I just want to focus more on the budget yesterday, because I don't hear people calling about the budget. I listened to the budget yesterday. Also, I listened to Beyond the Headlines. And then the program Monday night was a very good program. I forgot the gentleman I was there, but I know Anthony Boswin was also there too, and also the Minister of Finance brother. And GT, yesterday I listened to the debate on the budget, and upon the time I was disappointed, because I listened to the opposition leader, members of the opposition, GT, and to me, we're supposed to be discussing a budget, but then the kind of attitude and the way I heard them song, to me, they wasn't discussing the budget. And I want to learn so much about the budget and all these things, even though I do economics and things, but there is a lot of things we could do. And today I think we should have Dr. Mitchell, and and it's the same playbook again. You know, when you're discussing the people budget, for example, there is students they're looking to learn, and all I hear is just condemnation and condemnation, like nothing going in good in Grenada. Because I was saying to one of my Jamaican friends yesterday, me and him was listening to the budget, and I said, I'm afraid to go back in Grenada because like everything wrong in Grenada. You know what I mean? Today I'm looking forward to hear something better, because when you hear all the progress that is government making and all the things that they're doing for the youths, you know, the development and thing. And we have something good going in Grenada, but if you listen to the opposition, if I was a tourist, I ain't coming in Grenada, I scared. You know?
But I wouldn't encourage you. I would not encourage you not to come to Grenada, sir. I wouldn't encourage you not.
Because me and you have to hang out someday. You know?
All the best, man. Take it easy, man.
But GT, one more thing before I go, GT. All right, I heard the gentleman mention about the CP. Yeah, the Center for Popular Education, that was one of the greatest things. And I always advocate for that. And I hope they could bring it back. Because a lot of children leave school early, and a lot of elders and things. Now we're going into the new technology. You know what I mean? Emotional intelligence, all these things. And so if we could get our senior folks to get to educate on that in that field, it will be good for us, because just now we might be finishing away money. It's credit card and all these things coming in now.
All right.
GT, have a wonderful weekend.
You too, man. Have a great weekend, and you have to come to Grenada.
Go to St. Patrick's this weekend, GT. Lots of things happening over that side.
All the best to you. Day, all right. 445-2041. We do have another caller. Caller live. Good morning. Welcome.
Jay, good morning, brother.
Good morning to you, man. Go right ahead, please.
Jay, as the last caller said, I would like to just say something on the budget based on yesterday. I didn't know nothing about the Telesford project. Andy Williams spoke yesterday and didn't mention nothing about that. I would like to hear him speak something about that. As soon as he didn't really talk about it, so I'll just move on. But my boy, the caller this morning said that there's highly skilled workers in Grenada. And sometimes when I hear that, I'll be angry, because I know there's a lot of guys on here who work and they're looking for work. But guess what happened? During the NMP era in office, NMP did so much of work, and they never had that problem finding skilled people. And the men that do work for NMP, they do a wonderful job, because you can see the roads and the bridges and whatever they build, just name it, it's still there. Now, all of a sudden, there is no skilled laborers in the country. Let me tell you what is happening. Government in office decide, well, they're not going to give you any NMP person work, basically, contract. But what they don't understand and don't know is that it hardly have NEC people who is skilled. So they cannot find enough NEC people anymore.
And that is that factual information you're sharing with us this morning?
Let me give you a fact. In my area, when they give him the work, you don't hire an NMP man to do it, because he cannot do it for himself. That's what is happening. So when they say they cannot find skilled people, they're right. Because they're not looking for anybody. They're looking for who is an NEC to get it work. And they can't find enough NEC skilled people. Which is true. NEC people are not really skilled people.
But it still goes wrong to there's a shortage. So why is there still a shortage if because of political affiliation you're not being employed? Why is there still a shortage?
Well, let me tell you again. Now, if you hire a helper and you want to pay me $60 a day to go and work from 8 to 4, most guys are smart enough and money enough, because cost of living is so expensive right now. So they won't want to do that work. You can go under the cocoa or cut that for somebody for 4 hours and make $60. Why would they go work for 8 hours for $60?
So it goes back to the same thing then. Folks just don't want to work. That's the reason we are lacking skilled workers.
The money's not right, because you don't understand. A young man who finished school have sense in him. You want to spend 8 hours for $60 when you could do 4 hours and make $60. So the money in the country have to go up. You can't pay a man $60 for the whole day. So you need to raise that price to $100. So if you don't go to that right, it makes sense to go and work in 8 to 4 in the construction site.
So you're practically saying the lack of skilled workers is because of the amount of whatever they've been paid per day. That's the reason why they are lack of skilled workers. That's what you're saying straight off the bat.
That is contributing to that.
Okay.
Seriously.
Okay.
A lot of guys don't want to go work because the money doesn't make sense. The cost of living is too expensive now, bro. And when I'm fully for $60 doesn't make any sense. You can't take care of your family with that. So that makes no sense. You know, they want to go for something else where they could make a fast more money. You understand? Easier money.
All right.
So, bro, you need to say that. You don't understand. If they share the work freely, and fear, you will find a lot of people unemployed. And here was going to Mantem yesterday. Mantem even he tried in his babachum from a build back better houses. They'll come up already. So we have to understand, when we spend our taxpayers' money to do projects in this country, if you don't get it right, a house is what you call a dead money. A house is a dead money. You spend that money, that's supposed to last you 100 years. It's able to go on between you and go on to the next generation. And if you don't do it right and correct, it's going to fall apart. So let's please others out here. And we government spending money to build houses for people. Make sure they gather into the house properly and good. So the house could last families generation down the road. So they would say, yes, you get that house from NDC and look at the house still up and running. Like in Janet's time, and some of the houses are still around because they built properly. You can't do the same thing all now. You need to just get it right. Get that system right. And hire the right sort of people so they can do the work properly. Forget about the political thing. Forget about that. No, we all agree.
Point taken, sir. Thank you so much for your contribution. Thank you so much. 435-2041, 435-2041. That's the number if you would like to call in and make a contribution this morning on today's edition of To The Point. I'll be moving up to 25 minutes before 10 o'clock. We do have another caller. Caller, your life. Good morning and welcome.
Pleasant good morning.
Good morning to you, sir.
Well, since the last regime was there, I was harping on night school. And if Grenada has to make any progress, we have to have people learning skills and all the rest of it. But that was ignored. I get the impression that, all right, you have to be affiliated to this party and that party. Utter nonsense with all Grenadians. And if Grenada must go forward, we have to have people with the skill, the know-how to to carry the progress along. And if this isn't done, we would find ourselves in monkey pants as we is today. And I think all of this nonsense must stop. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, caller. Thank you so much for your contribution this morning. And there's a message from someone via the WhatsApp. They're saying, to accuse a government of suppressing free speech in a country is a damning, I should say, accusation. The caller who made the accusation should be asked to provide evidence. Let's go back to the phone line. Caller, you are live. Blessed morning to you. How are you doing this morning? Caller, you know we'll not be able to accommodate because your whatever device or so you have in the background is way too loud. Have that taken care of and you could certainly call us back. 435-2041, 435. We go back to the phone line. We do have a caller via WhatsApp. WhatsApp caller, you're live. Good morning.
Yes, good morning. Good morning, GT. Good morning to everybody listening. Auntie Jojo want to give us that warning that those AI toys should be looked at very carefully. It's Christmas time and people looking for toys for their children and so on. But you must know that some of them are even banned because those talking ones carrying on sex conversation. There is even one that can tell a child where to go and get a knife. If it can tell the child where to go and get the knife, it can tell the child what to do with the knife too. So I'm just alerting parents as you shop for toys for Christmas. Remember, Auntie Jojo loves you. But I'm warning you, be careful, okay?
Thank you so much. We do have another caller. We lost that caller there. 435-2041, 435-2041. Of course, to our listeners and viewers, please, when you do call in, make sure your device, or whether it's your radio or television, is totally turned off when you're about to make the call. You can certainly put it back up when you get through with finish making your contribution. Caller, you're live. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning, GT. I'm just driving and found your program to be rather interesting, but I want you to assist me in something, GT. I know definitely that in Grenada we are lacking what is called investigative journalism. I'm not too sure what the program is about, but some of that is a very burning and pressing issue. Could you find out for me one? I heard a caller, he sounds to be a youth, And he was making, a remark as it relates to the revolution has not done anything good for the long term. But one of the things I want to commend him for, he seems to be a very observant youth. And he did mention wastage, that all administration has been engaged in during the time that they are here. Hence the reason why, we live in a country where progress is made from, just minute by minute, but not as it's supposed to be. I want to find out, is there an MRI machine in the hospital? One, if there is not, how long has the hospital been without an MRI machine? How much for an MRI machine? And if an MRI machine could not have been purchased instead of the $15 million that was spent over a year or so for independence celebration. So I don't know if you would like to bring in Mr. Philip Telesford on the program and maybe the other former Minister of Health. Why is the hospital lacking an MRI machine, which is such a critical...
If my information is right, I think there is an MRI machine at the General Hospital. At the hospital.
You want to confirm it for me? And some way or the other, and thing. That's why I feel at that stage. I'm not too sure, but I just want to know. Thank you,
right. Thank you so much. If my information is right, there is an MRI machine at the General Hospital. Let's go back to the phone line. We do have a caller via WhatsApp. WhatsApp, you're live. Good morning. Welcome.
Good morning.
Good morning to you, sir.
I'm calling with regard to something that is talked about, something that is needed, something that seems to have dropped somewhere in a deep dark hole. In the year 2014, in a report from the Japanese International Cooperation Agency, who provides a lot of funding and grant support for developmental projects in the fishing industry, that report indicated on page 94, number 4.1, it says Waltham. It goes on to say civil work. That's the nature of the work. It goes on to say component construction of landing jetty, in bracket 40M, that means 40 meters, slope and pavement. It indicates the executing agency as the Fisheries Division. It goes on to indicate the priority as A, and it goes on further to indicate approximate costs 150 million yen. Well, I want to find out, since in the year 2014, what representation and advocacy has the people who were elected? And I think they only had one representative from up to today. I think it's a lady by the name Dr. Modest. Is that person seeking the interests of the farmers? That person is in office and you're not hearing anything in that regard. How could a project be identified since in 2014 and nothing is happening? People need to wake up and realize that they need to do the right thing. They need to seek their interests. If the representative who was in government from 2014 to 22 did nothing, why would they elect them again? But they're in office still, so are they speaking about it? Have they had any discussions, any meetings, any effort to get that project going? We also have a senator, and the senator is in government. Can we encourage the senator to advocate so that the fishermen can get that jetty, that landing site, instead of in occasions when the sea is a bit turbulent, when they come in and show you the fish, they lose it in the water, or they have to go search for it? So I'm calling on the government, I'm calling on the people who represent St. Mark, I'm calling on the legislators in Parliament, all the representatives and the senators, to please do something. Money needs to be spent in that place. It's not a very rich community. It's the country, The people that pay taxes for the houses and the land, so they need to get something. Everything should not be in the south of the island. So I'm encouraging again, the representatives and the people to get that jetty going. It is not too big a project for Waltham. The fishermen need it. Thank you.
Thank you, caller. Thank you also. We do have another caller. Caller, you're live. Good morning and welcome.
Good morning, GT. How are you?
Doing great.
To your listeners. viewers. I called GT because yesterday I on Innocent program, the morning program, you had the Ministry of Culture and they were promoting the Cameroon Festival that's supposed to be happening this weekend in St. Patrick. And I'm rather much disappointed in the Ministry of Culture. You have a local committee that's supposed to be spearheading that activity of the Cameroon Festival. But it seems like this whole thing is micromanaged, and it is unfortunate that you have local people contributing their time and effort into a festival like this. And this committee they are treated with disrespect to the Manx. They are void of information. I mean, this is a local organizing committee that supports the people on the ground that have been with these things for years. And there are it seems as though the new direction in that department, in the head, is micromanaging everything. And totally disregarding those local persons who are on that committee, who are giving up their time. You have a reputable individual, very respected in the community from St. Patrick, who is heading that committee in Mr. Robert White. And there are a lot of things I cannot say, I wouldn't say on the radio. But trust me, I think it is utter disrespect, not just to the committee, but to St. Patrick people, for this to be happening. So, for instance, that appearance on GBN morning yesterday, the organizing committee was not even aware of it. Why? Because a question was posed to those persons, and none of them could have effectively answered as to what was the mood on the ground as that festival is about to start today. And they could not have effectively answered. Where was that? The members of the committee, local committee, was not even aware they was appearing on that program. And I mean, GT, I don't know. It's unfortunate. It's very unfortunate because this is a festival that we cherish in the parish. Yes. And it is unfortunate that some people feel that they should take charge and do everything. And where people are volunteering, and that has been the case of that committee, volunteering the services, and you just literally pushing them aside and putting them in a way that they don't have information, there is void of information, and most of the time they don't know what's happening. So things are happening and they're just hearing it, and they're part of a committee that is organizing anything on the ground. So I can tell you for a fact, this is the first time I felt such a disconnection to the Cameroon Festival in St. Patrick. It seemed like yesterday I heard a public address thing going around. But outside of when you see the state that is being built, people are asking what is happening, what is happening. People from St. Patrick. It is unfortunate, but I do hope that when next that festival is we have, that the approach is different and they pay respect to the local people who are giving up their time to organize this thing to make it what it is. Thank you and have a good morning.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your contribution also. Folks, we due for a break. Let's take it. When we come back, we get into the final segment of today's edition of To The Point. We'll be right back. Don't touch it down.
This Christmas,
Classic Radio 105.5, 105.9 on the FM dial, GBN TV, Channel 7, Channel 11, Channel 20. Good morning to once again to our listeners and viewers. It's to the point for Friday, the 5th day of December 2025. We have an open line edition this morning. We do have another caller. Caller via WhatsApp. Good morning, you're live and welcome. WhatsApp caller, good morning, you're live. Guess the caller is not there. Let's try another caller. Caller, you're live. Good morning, welcome.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning to you, sir.
Most things happen in Grenada, and most people are saying that nothing is happening. I cannot understand these things. Maybe things are not happening what the people intend to want to happen. It's not what you want to happen. It's what is right to happen, or what the government put in its program. As far as I understand, every government has done good, and perhaps everyone has done bad. Maybe people too have done good as well as they have done bad individually. Now, as far as I'm concerned, is who has done the most good, then you consider them to be maybe effective in the government. Now, what bothers me, it is people seem to be having appointed maybe to talk for somebody, invite people as maybe as government officials, and yet maybe the government are not telling us. There is a lady who always announces a parliamentary representative, but as I know her, she seems to be taking taking something by making a grunt of assault, and maybe she's not permitted to do it. So then, minister should say what he appointed her, so that the people would know that she has the merit to do it. As far as I'm concerned, this should never happen. We should know who is working for who in the government, because we put the representative there, and we have to know who he has been appointed. Thank you very much.
Thank you also for your contribution, sir. Thank you so much. 435-2041, 435-2041. Let's go back to another call. I was going to take, of course, one of a message from someone via WhatsApp, but let's take the call. Caller, you're live. Good morning. Welcome.
Yes,
WhatsApp
morning,
caller. Good morning.
How are you doing, sir?
Doing great.
You know, your first caller introduced an amazing subject matter that I've addressed over and over in this country, on this radio station, on other radio stations. And one of your callers afterwards addressed it too, to quite an extent the way I usually address it, because that's my line, that's my field, the area of construction. And I know the nonsense that is going on inside of the construction industry in this country. The way contractors treat workers, the way workers are paid, especially, the way they are treated, the disrespect that is meted out to us. GT, I did not hear all that the lady said initially because the reception was kind of bad. But by the time the other caller addressed the subject matter, I heard basically everything he said, loud and clear. And he was to quite an extent right. Now the thing is, GT, a young man interested in construction, living in, for example, in St. Patrick's, and that's where you'll find a lot of these guys would gravitate to this kind of work easier than in St. George's, for example. To leave River Valley, to leave St. Patrick's in general, Poetry and this kind of areas in there, and come to town where most of the construction is being done. Big projects. And that's where the big contractors get the big projects anyhow. And look at the big contractors, they don't pay. So that a guy living in Rosalios or so come to St. George's to work for $65 a day or $60 a day makes little or no sense. Bus in itself take almost half of that already, about $25. You have to pay the bus to get them to Granans from Riverside and this kind of areas and them. So it makes little or no sense. Even tradesmen, qualified tradesmen, like me and so on, they want to pay us $100 and $120 a day. Look at the cost of tools, especially for a carpenter. The amount of tools that a carpenter has to buy, the kind of tools that he needs, especially to get work in the big companies. $100 they want to pay you. increase. I know. I experienced it myself. That happened especially during the time of when the new parliament was built. I work in that parliament. I did also work there. Guys were given an increase of $1. That makes any sense? You increasing a man pay by $1. He working for the top mason on that project at the time in Parliament building was working for $95 a day. Leading mason, that's the absolute nonsense. And that's the kind of nonsense you have in the construction industry, especially with the big contractors. So guys are not encouraged to pick up that as a trade in this country. That's a fact. Young guys are not encouraged to end up in that industry in this country. They make money easier in other ways. And they might gravitate to that. It's not a skill. It's not even legal in some cases. But they gravitate to the other side. And that's part of the problem. I could take the whole day and talk about this thing, MGT.
Understand, but we don't have the entire day.
yeah, I know.
All right.
Take care, sir.
Thank you for your contribution. We do have another caller. Caller, you're live. Good morning. Welcome.
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning to you, sir.
I've made a contribution a few times before. All the people who are calling, they're making their points. But the people who's supposed to listen to those points are working. So, for example, Parliament is going on today. So none of the ministers will hear this program on the radio. I'm wondering why is it that they can't make the problem they're making on the radio to the ministers directly. For example, a lady called and she says she wants help. Get this lady number, you have my number, send it to me and I will go and cut the bush for her. I'll do it free because the majority of people who are calling on this program, they are not working. They're in their home, they're sitting, doing nothing. They just call in the program and talk, but they're not doing anything. A gentleman just been talking about the $1 a day when they was building Parliament. Who was responsible for that? So now they're talking about people don't want to work, and they're saying, well, it's a fact. People don't want to learn. Look at the schools. When children come out from school, instead of they going home and try to do something, they sit around the school, creating a whole heap of problem. And if you talk to one of them, they tell you where your mother so-and-so is. And that's what we have to do. Talk to the people who are responsible. None of the ministers right now are able to hear this program or to hear these people. So I want to suggest to you, GT, get a collection of those things and you get it on to the ministers who are responsible. You should have somebody taking notes of those things and pass it on to the ministers who are responsible. Let me get this country moving in a better direction instead of going back to what happened how many 100 years ago. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. We have another caller. Caller live. Good morning. Welcome.
Judy, just 30 seconds.
Very brief, please. Yeah.
You know, like back in the days, right? Okay, like when you go to a primary school, right? And you know, children from standard 6 and 7, they used to always go to a center where you could learn them skills and things. You know, I mean, the ladies do the cooking and the young men used to do like the craft, like the carpentry. Do they still have that, Judy?
I don't think I don't think, but there are Tibetan skills training programs going on. Maybe not to the level that it used to in the past, but there are programs of that nature going on.
Okay, because I'm not speaking like in terms of new law and thing, but you know, that's where you used to get your start, you know, and then after when you get a holiday, then your parents send you either to the garage, you send you to like a tailor, you know, they send you learn skills and thing. You know, I think we need to bring back these things on MGT. GT, thanks again and have a good day.
Have a good morning. Thank you so much. We do have another caller. Lost that caller there. 435-2041, 435-2041. And let's grab this caller before I read that stuff out. Caller, you're live. Good morning via WhatsApp.
Good morning.
Good morning to you.
I'm calling because I am fed up with the Mount Hartman Road going towards the quarry. Whenever it rains, the holes are so big, it's like driving through a pool. And you're damaging your car. I've spoken to Andy Williams about it. I've spoken to the Prime Minister with DM with the PM, and nobody seemed to be concerned. All you have on that road is pure holes, and there's such a big one. It's like a swimming pool that you have to go through every day. I know the Prime Minister say that it's the trucks that are damaging the road. But why do we, as residents, have to suffer because the trucks are damaging the road? But the trucks are damaging the road. The roads are damaging our cars. I don't think it's fair to us at all because we pay taxes, and I think we should be heard and something should be done about it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Caller, you're live. Good morning. You're welcome.
Hi. Good morning. I just joined in very, very late, so I must confess that. But I heard a caller before the last, two callers before the last, spoke about the disincentive for people to get involved in construction, and I believe that there is a need to have opportunities for people to upgrade their skills so they can be able to be paid, what they really deserve. But I question this whole matter of the wages, because how does it make sense for a contractor, if it's a major project, to bring someone in, pay the airfare, pay them, get their work permit, give them housing, and all of those things, and still give them something that they can feel acceptable? Well, if they can have people here in Grenada doing that. You know what I'm saying? You wonder, how is it possible? If the people here can do the work, they will be paid. It will save the contractors so much more if they can find the skills here. And another thing I question is that folks come from, right now, I live in the south, and every time they go to the supermarket or convenience store or the gas station, everybody's talking Spanish. There's so many people from outside who are here now looking for jobs. And some of these people are here with their families. They don't have any brother or sister in the country to give them a breadfruit or a yam or a banana, right? But some of them have to pay rent, sustain their families, and 5 years from now, some of those people are going to be well off. While our people who can take a bus a short distance, sometimes they don't have to even rent. They have access to relatives and so can even give them local food. But they are complaining that they cannot survive. People from outside with no links are coming here and surviving, and look out for them in 5 years' time. So while I do not dispute the fact that people have to be paid a decent wage, I think many of us are lacking in ambition, and we don't have the drive to develop and improve ourselves. And we sit there and complain while people are coming from outside, and they are going to be the envy of many of these same people a few years down the line. Watch it, GT. Watch and see what's going to happen. Have a good day.
You too, sir. Thank you. Thank you for your contribution also on today's edition of To The Point. Hey, folks, we have gotten to that stage of the morning where we're going to have to take a wrap for today's edition, or final edition for this week. Join us again on Monday of next week for another edition of To The Point. That's what we say goodbye for today. Thanks all who contributed to today's program. We thank you so much. Have a good one, folks. That's what we say goodbye.